Hey everybody, Jimmy Wild here from J76 Gaming, back with another Final Fantasy VII Remake guide, and this time we're going to do the Leviathan Summons battle. And in today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the fight, share some materia suggestions, and then we'll go through some of the attacks that you need to look out for. And then after that, we'll just jump in and do the fight start to finish, and I'll do some commentary as I'm completing the fight. Let's go ahead and take a look at the assessment for Leviathan, and you can see the hit points. Doesn't drop any items unless it's your first time beating it, then you get the Leviathan materia. But on the other side, we got some resistances and weaknesses that I like to look at. So the weakness to lightning is the most important thing that I think in this, because I'll be using elemental materia combined with lightning. But the downside of this fight is that Leviathan is resistant to magic, and then also ice, and the greater resistance to fire, so that basically negates your other two summons that you have at this point, so you kind of can't really use them. You can, but they're going to do significantly less damage. But anyway, so the interesting thing that I found while doing this fight is, even though Leviathan is weak to lightning, you don't actually see weakness proc on Leviathan. It just shows up as damage. So my theory right now is that because there is a weakness to lightning and a resistance to magic, they both just even themselves out. So instead of taking reduced damage from the resistance or taking more damage from lightning, they just even out and you just get damage. So that's my theory. I don't have any proof to that, but I just think that's kind of interesting about this fight. Okay, before we get into the materia, I want to just acknowledge that yes, my characters are 50, so this fight is going to be a little bit different than when you would normally run into this fight at, I think, 30, maybe 30 to 32-ish, let's say. And in that spirit, I've taken off a lot of the materia that I would be using, and trying to use the lower level of the spells that I do already have set. So it kind of evens it out a little bit, but this is still going to be much easier at 50 than at 30. So let's go through the materia. So Cloud, I'm using elemental and lightning just to pick up a little bit of extra damage when he does attack. Revival is really nice. Casting Raise is huge compared to Phoenix Down. Phoenix Down's nice in a pinch, but if you do have the ability to cast Raise, it's so much nicer to pop up with the extra hit points back. Healing, I like to have healing on, definitely. I love regen. Regen is one of my favorite, especially in a fight like this where Barret is going to be taking a lot of small damage. A lot of big damage too, but a lot of small damage that is just nice to have the regen ticking on him. And then Assess, because I needed to get a screenshot of it for this video. Alright, and then on Barret, same deal. We got Elemental and Lightning. Item Master, just in case I do need to pop a Mega Potion. Steadfast Block is actually pretty nice for this, because you're going to spend a lot of time in this fight guarding. So being able to get a little bit more damage mitigation and an ATB boost is kind of nice. Also another healing and a backup barrier. So Tifa's going to be my main magic user in this fight, but if she's down for some reason or doesn't have ATB to actually cast anything, it's nice to have Barret as a backup for Mana Ward. And speaking of Tifa, we got Magnify and Time. Now, there is a debate to be had on whether you would like to have Magnify and Time to get haste on everyone, or if you'd like to have Magnify and Barrier on everyone to get Mana Ward, because Mana Ward's pretty nice for this, but the strategy that I'm going with is to really focus most of the damage on Barret. So Barret's the tankiest, he's got the most hit points. I only really need to get Mana Ward up on him, and even if I miss it, it's not that big of a deal. So you can go either way. This, like I said, I just prefer to haste everyone and then cast the single mana ward on Barret. I'm also using the auto cure. I mean, that's one of my favorites. This is crucial. You don't want to, there's sometimes you just don't want to have to worry about getting that cure off, and Tifa's just there right with it. So, and the first stride is big at the very start of the fight, especially with it all maxed out. You get instantly, you can cast the haste on everyone and start to fight with haste, so that's pretty sweet. And then your summons in this fight aren't really going to do you much good because of the resistances that Leviathan has, so I just have them on there because I didn't take them off. So now that we've covered the material, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the abilities you're going to be facing, and I'm not going to cover all of them, but I want to cover a couple that are ones that you're probably going to see quite a bit and what to do about them. But first up is Briny Bellow. So this is a laser attack straight at you. There's a couple ways you can handle this. One is if you're a ranged character, you're playing Barret, which is what I'm going to be doing mostly. You really just need to buff up and take it. There is a slim chance that you can dodge it if you time it perfectly and can maybe sidestep and go dodge underneath it, but chances are you're gonna get hit. The other way, as you can see here, is Cloud. If you're melee, you can actually get in underneath Leviathan's neck and not take any damage from it. It'll just go right over top of you. So that's how you can do that. But next up, we got Tail Whip. So you think, oh, well, Cloud can get underneath Briny Bellow, no problem. No, Leviathan's got you with the Tail Whip. So if you spend enough time close to him, he's gonna hit you with Tail Whip. The mitigation for this is really get in, do some damage, and then get out. If you wait to see the Tail Whip warning, it's too late. You're gonna get hit. You don't have enough time to get out of the range. And there's also another move, and I'm forgetting the name at this point, but it's an AoE attack. So once again, if you're in there doing damage, you can't stay there forever. You gotta get in there, do your damage, and get out, or be prepared to heal through it. So next up is probably the most annoying thing, and that's Spinning Dive. So Spinning Dive, as you can see how wide an area of the arena that it covers, and it does a lot of damage. So what I'd like to do to stay out of harm for this is to play Barret, play far away, and then hope that Spinning Dive does not hit Tifa and Cloud because they're out of range. For Barret though, I don't think you can actually dodge this. You kind of just have to buff up and take it. So get your Steel Skin up, get Mana Ward up, use your Steadfast block materia, and just take as little damage as you can. With all that stuff up, you can get it down to less than half the damage, so it's not too bad. But later in the fight, he does it back to back, and if you don't have your buffs up, you could get hurt real bad. Now there's a couple of bigger moves that I'm not covering right now, and you'll see those in the fight video itself, but they're Tidal Roar and Tidal Wave. So Tidal Wave is the big undodgeable move. It's got its own cutscene. You're all going to get hit. So really, once you see it coming, just make sure all of your characters have as much hit points as possible. Somewhere probably above 2,500, 3,000 or higher if you can, depending on what buffs you have on and what defenses you have on. But you're going to get hit for probably at least 2,000. And then Tidal Roar is an actual phase of the fight. So once you get down to maybe half health, or maybe a little bit further, depending on how much damage you do at one particular time, Leviathan will jump up and start circling the battlefield. And there's going to be some water spouts that are coming up, and they will do damage to you as they touch you, so you want to avoid them. I actually have a strategy we'll cover in a second. And then while he's up there, he's also doing things like Briny Barrage and spinning dive. So you're gonna have to just cure through a lot of that stuff. Block, keep your buffs up, and then cure through it. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get into the fight, and I'm gonna get my headphones on and get the audio turned on, and I'll be right back in a second. All right, let's go ahead and go through the fight. So we're back at our buddy Chadley, our favorite NPC of the game, because he gives us some cool fights to do. And we're gonna go to VR missions and Leviathan and say yes.
Then I invite you to ready
go ahead and skip the cutscene because we've seen it a few times already. And here we are, starting the fight. So when I talked about materia, I talked about how I like to have Tifa with haste on everyone.
It's on you.
So we'll get haste up. And I should point out that he opens with Briny Bellow all the time, and I always forget to block it because I'm so busy casting haste. But alright, so we got our haste up, and now Tifa's got ATB again, so we'll go ahead and get Mana Ward up, and then Cloud, we'll go ahead and get Regen up.
Bring it on!
So there you go. Briny Barrage doing 23 a piece, or 28 or whatever it was, and then under 200 now for Briny Bellow. Another cool thing about the strategy of using Barret all the time is that you can hit Leviathan from anywhere in the arena, because it bounces around so many different times, so many different places. Oh, here comes spinning dive. See, 306 buffed up, that's not too bad. Where's he at? And also with Barret is you can actually charge up while Leviathan's bouncing around. So aquatic focus is one of those abilities that isn't going to hurt you, but it's charging up to do something else. So it's charging up to do an AoE centered around Leviathan. So there's two different moves. One is Tail Whip, and one is that move that we just saw there. I already forgot the name of it. But okay, so let's do a quick check where we're at. So we got our haste is worn off, and we have Barret has regen only. So we'll get Tifa to get our haste again, and watch Barret get wrecked. Slow motion. And where am I going? Tifa. Spells, Mana Ward, Barret. Boom. So now we're buffed again. Just in time to get wrecked by Leviathan again. And again. There we go. I think we're finally done with that. So go ahead and get shooting again. Alright, spinning dive coming in. We're going to block. 299 is not too bad for damage. And this is one of the doubles, so we're going to block again. 283. Okay, so now he should sit for a second. Oops. So don't prematurely hit overcharge. That's not cool. Okay, so this is our first little mini stagger, if you will. It doesn't actually stagger him, but it gets him knocked down and interrupts his attacking for a second. So I'm gonna stop for a second. So what you can do, and what I should have done, is get in there with Tifa and Cloud and hit with some big abilities, and maybe use Barret's Maximum Fury. So that's what I should have done. But this fight, being that I'm at level 50, goes a little bit too fast if I just hammer on this. So that's what you should do. That's not what I'm going to do, because I want this fight to go a little bit longer so that you can see all the things that you have to actually deal with. So I got another barrage.
Damn it.
This time I'll actually get overcharge in the right place. Okay, so we're going to stop for a second. Tidal Wave is coming. Let's look at our hit points, and we're actually doing pretty good. I'm going to take this opportunity to get regen on Tifa. And if I have enough time. Hopefully I do. We'll get regen on Cloud also. Alright, so we're going to take this damage because this is the everyone gets hit ability. Alright, and so Tifa with the auto cure is going to help us out. We're going to block here. Alright, another barrage. Go ahead and block. Okay, so what do we got? We got regen on everyone and no haste. So we need to pay attention and block that. But we need to get Tifa up so she can haste everyone again.
Hurry up.
Alright. And since I haven't been using them yet, we'll go ahead and use Maximum Fury.
Check out this shit right here.
Do some damage. We'll block the barrage that's coming in. Alright, and Tifa is up. So Tifa, if you don't mind, go ahead and hit us all with some haste. And we should be getting pretty close to Tidal Roar here. Oh, got a spinning dive first.
Say your prayers and beg for forgiveness.
Okay, aquatic focus. So once again, this is a good opportunity to get in there and do some melee.
Doggone it, asshole!
Bellow. Alright, and that's because I didn't do a very good job blocking. We'll get some cure on Barret. And if you're wondering why I'm kind of being lazy about it right now, is I really want to push him into the next phase, but I don't want to push him too hard that we skip it.
Suck on this!
And we gotta stagger. So I'm actually not gonna do anything. I'm gonna let him come back up. If these guys don't kill him first. Alright, here's our Tidal Roar. This is what I was waiting for. Alright, so see it's up, spinning around, and we get some water spouts coming. So here, 4 buffs for this. We'll get our haste again. That'll be good. The Cloud will get regen on Barret again because Barret's going to be taking the brunt of these attacks here. So I'm going to spin around so you can see. So there's 3 water spouts, and what you want to do is kind of just run around until they kind of form in a triangle around you.
Is that it?
Okay, I think we can get it right here. Okay, so you can see you got 1 in front and 1 on either side. And at this point, you can just stand here and you're not going to take damage from the water spouts. I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing there. Now, you will take damage from Leviathan when he does Briny Barrage or does Spinning Dive, but the water spouts themselves, if you don't panic and just stand there, you're fine. So one of the other things about them, we're going to eat this dive here. One of the other things about the water spouts though is they actually protect Leviathan. So I'm going to try to get, there we go. See the immune there? Here we go. See the immune? You cannot shoot Leviathan through the water spouts. So you kind of just need to time your attacks so that you're attacking them when not behind. So now that I've explained all that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to waste my overcharge as he turned around and got hit. but I still have my ATB, so I'm gonna hit with maximum fury.
Hope you don't mind if I fill you full of holes.
Boom. There we go.
Worked up a good sweat.
So that was kind of an abnormal fight where he didn't do title roar until the very end. Normally it's in the 50 to 40% range where you do it, so I don't know why he didn't, but maybe I pushed him through the phase. But at any rate, so that's the fight. It's a lot of blocking, it's a lot of buffing, but the hardest part of title roar is just don't panic and stand there in the middle. And use Barrett to keep doing some damage. So that's it. I hope that you learned something from this fight. I hope that you liked the video. Let me know in the comments how you go about it. If you got a completely different strategy, I'd love to hear it. I've spent a good chunk of today and some of earlier in the week trying to put together this strategy, so I'd be real interested to hear what other people have come up with. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.